Indonesia's decision to pursue a variant of the Iver Huitfeldt-class represents the most consequential transformation of the Indonesian Navy in 2 decades. It is a shift born not from ambition alone, but from a rapidly changing security environment where pressure from China in the Natuna Sea, accelerating modernization efforts in the Philippines, and Indonesia's own desire to project credible force across a vast maritime domain converge into a single strategic imperative. For a country spread across more than 17,000 islands, naval superiority is not a luxury. It is a structural requirement of national survival. The underlying change driving Jakarta's decision is the evolving balance of power in the South China Sea. Over the past 5 years, China's Coast Guard, maritime militia, and naval presence have expanded dramatically. The southwestern edges of the so-called 9-dash line continue to overlap with Indonesia's exclusive economic zone near the Natuna Islands. While Indonesia rejects the claim outright, maritime pressure from Beijing is persistent. Shadowing operations, unauthorized fishing flotillas, and high-end surveillance missions are now routine. This steady degradation of strategic space has forced Indonesia to seek platforms capable not only of patrol but deterrence. And deterrence at sea requires large, heavily armed, sensor-rich combatants. The Iver Huitfeldt-class fits that requirement with unusual precision. It is a destroyer in all but name, displacing more than 6,600 tons, equipped with long-range radar, a high-capacity vertical launch system, and a modular architecture that can be tailored to Indonesia's industrial and financial constraints. Unlike many European warships of similar size, the Huitfeldt was designed from the beginning to be cost-effective. Denmark achieved this by using commercial-grade construction standards for much of the hull, while concentrating military-grade investment into mission systems. The result is a vessel that carries the sensors and missiles of a high-end destroyer at a price point closer to a mid-tier frigate. For Indonesia, which needs endurance, firepower, and affordability simultaneously, the logic is compelling. Technically, the Huitfeldt-class offers a quantum leap over anything currently in Indonesian service. With a length of approximately 138 meters, a flight deck capable of supporting medium helicopters, and the endurance to operate across Indonesia's archipelagic expanse, the ship brings scale that TNI-AL has not previously possessed. More importantly, its sensor suite is capable of redefining Indonesia's maritime awareness. If Jakarta chooses to retain a configuration based on the Smart L and APAR radar combination, the ship could achieve long-range surveillance and area air defense capabilities unmatched in Southeast Asia. A vertical launch system containing 32 to 48 cells would allow the use of missiles such as the evolved Sea Sparrow missile or the Standard Missile family, giving Indonesia layered defense options for the first time. The significance of this transformation becomes clearer when compared to Indonesia's existing fleet. The Bung Tomo class, though modernized, is fundamentally a light frigate with limited air defense capability. The Sigma 10514 class is highly practical but optimized for patrol and general-purpose roles. Even the future Garuda FREM frigates, being built in cooperation with Italy, serve a different niche as advanced anti-submarine platforms. The Huitfeldt-class, by contrast, introduces the missing cornerstone, an area air defense combatant capable of coordinating and defending an entire task group. For the first time, Indonesia could field a balanced surface fleet with specialized vessels for anti-air, anti-submarine, and long-range strike missions. There is also a regional dynamic that makes the choice even more consequential. The Philippines is accelerating its modernization through Horizon 3, adding new corvettes, submarines, and extended-range missiles. While Manila's platforms remain smaller, usually between 2,600 and 3,500 tons, they are technologically sophisticated due to partnerships with South Korea, Japan, and the United States. The Philippines is building a forward shield in the central and eastern South China Sea. Indonesia, by contrast, forms the southwestern flank of the same contested zone. The more these two nations modernize, the more they shape China's calculus. A capable Indonesian destroyer enhances the credibility of that flank, even without formal alliance structures. The strategic value of the Huitfeldt also extends to command and control. Large hulls allow more space for operations rooms, communication arrays, and auxiliary power, critical for Indonesia's long-term vision of net-centric maritime operations. A future task group built around a Huitfeldt-class flagship paired with FREM frigates and improved Sigma variants would offer Jakarta a flexible instrument for managing crises, conducting distant patrols, or escorting merchant shipping through vulnerable maritime corridors. This is particularly relevant as Indonesia becomes increasingly aware of the need to secure the Malacca-Natuna South China Sea axis in both peacetime and conflict. Yet ambition does not remove constraints. Indonesia will face significant challenges in acquisition and integration. Even if the hull can be built domestically by PT-PAL, the combat system, vertical launch cells, radar, and missiles must be imported. These components represent most of the cost and complexity of a modern warship. Budget pressures, political cycles, and currency fluctuations could force Indonesia to downscale key systems. An under-equipped Huitfeldt would be a missed opportunity. The second challenge is operational. Maintaining a 6,000-ton warship requires a higher level of logistics, training, and fleet management than Indonesia has traditionally employed. Without a parallel investment in human capital and maintenance infrastructure, the platform will struggle to achieve its potential. There are also questions of long-term strategic alignment. Denmark and European suppliers can offer high-end technology, but Indonesia must ensure supply chains remain reliable during crises. This has implications for diversification and for Jakarta's ongoing partnerships with South Korea, Japan, and increasingly, Turkey. A destroyer-sized platform is only as valuable as the resilience of the ecosystem supporting it. Despite these risks, Indonesia's pursuit of the Huitfeldt-class is a rational and strategically coherent move. It signals a country stepping confidently into its role as a middle maritime power, one that refuses to be squeezed by China's expanding influence and recognizes that Southeast Asia's future stability depends on credible deterrence. If executed well, this platform will reshape Indonesia's naval posture throughout the coming decade. It will provide reach, protection, and situational awareness that can anchor a modern fleet. It will also reinforce the emerging dual structure of regional security in the South China Sea, where the Philippines and Indonesia, operating from different axes, create a dispersed but mutually reinforcing network of resistance to coercive pressure. In a region where maritime power increasingly defines political leverage, Indonesia's turn toward the Iver Huitfeldt-class is more than a procurement decision. It is the clearest signal yet that Jakarta intends to defend its waters with the seriousness of a nation that understands the stakes. This is the beginning of a new chapter for the Indonesian Navy, one in which size, capability, and strategy finally converge.